All right, welcome into On My Block podcast, the Green Bay Packer podcast. I'm your host, Amon Green, along with my good friend and teammate, Mike Wallman. Mike, how you doing?
Buddy, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling. A long weekend, had a winter squall.
A squall?
Yes, they're just saying a whiteout. They threw in squall.
Does that mean it's snow? I thought a squall was rainfall.
It was
Not whiteout?
snow. It was a
No.
high wind snowfall. And they said winter squall. I'm like, that's just a whiteout because I couldn't see nothing on the ride home from school.
AG, we're doing this, and we're in Texas, right?
Right.
It's literally 30 to 70 every 24 hours, 30 to 70. Today, it's 85 degrees outside today.
Wow, nice.
2 days, yesterday, it was in the 30s. It's, everyone's sick. You know what I mean? Everyone's got the sniffles because they don't know how to handle it. I don't know what's going on. Mother Nature's a real son of a bitch.
Hey, yeah. So, but we got some good stuff coming on with football season being done. What you got cooking there?
Yeah, man. Football might be over for this season, but basketball's in full stream for both pro and college hoops. And from all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, Bet Online is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. So head on over to the website or use your mobile devices to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to get started. And it's not just basketball, AG. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, UFC odds. Right over to the Olympics. Actually, Olympics are over, right?
Yeah.
I think it's closing ceremonies are pretty soon. Yeah, I got to tell you a funny story. Speaking of Olympics, man, I was complaining there was too much curling on. I got this guy on Twitter, from the curling committee, like shut me down. He's like, dude, there's 3 curling events every day, whatever. It was hilarious. But anyways, from sports right down here, Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your number one online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest, easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna get a limit and just stick with it. I'm gonna do like 500 and see what I could do with 500 on the website.
I think you'd be happy if you just small bets.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do small bets. Yep, and stay consistent with the small stuff. So listen, today, man, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to the audience, we AG and I talked about it last week. We're not that into talking about college players and underwear. So, no. instead of talking about the Twitter wars and everything, that all the draft experts and talking about Mel Kiper's mock drafts and whatnot, we thought we'd bring on some Packers onto the show to talk some Packers football.
Yes, indeed. We got special.
Who we got guest today, AG?
We got special guest Cave and Barry U71. Sleep and eat. But the tremendous amount of nicknames my man got. But a guy who basically would forklift another human being 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. And I seen it with my own eyes as I was getting the ball handed off. And I said, I'm running that way. There's nobody. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. So what's up, Kevin, man? How you doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Nice.
KB, man, Pride of Racing, Wisconsin, man. I had this, the first thing that happened on Twitter this morning when I said you were coming on the show. Dudes from Racine, like, hey, when's Kevin coming back down to Racine? I want some good high school stories. They're into it. They love you.
Yeah.
They love that, KB.
So something I didn't know about you, KB. 1996 Wisconsin Player of the Year of Washington Park High School. Dopeness, pretty good there. And then signed Green Bay here in 2002, which was my third year here, and then out of U of A, University of Arizona. And a little quick fun fact.
Yep.
I almost committed. Me and Kevin knows this. We've had this conversation. I almost committed to A of U when I came out in college, 1995. So we almost kind of crossed paths. I would have graduated.
Yeah, AG, you're so old, bro. You're old head. Okay.
I know. We're almost.
Yeah.
We both would have been Wildcats. You know.
He would have been that guy. You ever do the recruiting dinner or the recruiting deal, and you have a host?
That was me. That would have been.
Did you ever play, KB? Did you ever play with do you ever play against one of your hosts? And I played twice against the guys that recruited me in college. Because I didn't have any big. I wasn't when it was Nebraska and University of Arizona and whatnot. I had Ivy League guys. But I'll never forget, man. We're playing Seth Payne, and I was beating the brakes off him down in Jacksonville. This dude's like, "Hey, man, you remember me?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Man, I was your host for the recruiting trip."
No, I never
my
played
goodness.
against any of them.
No?
I played against former guys like Lance Briggs and Joe Tafoya and stuff like that. But
Oh, so
Former
you're
teammates.
that's your age. I didn't even think about that. That's your age group. Lance Briggs and all those boys.
Yeah.
Lance was a stud. Was he a stud in college?
Yeah.
That dude was that guy's a unit, man.
Yeah,
here's
he
the
was
thing,
put
though.
together.
So you remember Pete Rule, right? Golden Pete.
Golden Pat.
He
Yeah,
was assistant coach, offensive line coach. He
yeah.
recruited me at Michigan.
Oh,
So
really?
It was funny. He kept calling me Big. I had a Big Daddy shirt. He kept calling me Daddy the whole recruiting trip. I ended up getting rid of my Big Daddy shirt because I couldn't stand it anymore.
Big Dad. Oh yeah, that's
Dude.
hilarious.
How big were you in high school? Wisconsin Player of the Year. You're All American too, right?
6'5". Yep.
315.
Oof.
You're a unit, dude. Hey, were the Packers your team growing up? Were you a Packers fan?
Yeah,
growing up, or were you somebody else?
we would play Sandlot football. I was a Packer fan. We would play Sandlot football around when the Packers played. So if it was like a later game, we play early in the day so we can watch them.
Nice.
You and Tausch got to play with that childhood team, man. Like, that's got to be an incredible. Because I didn't even have a team like that. The closest I got to, I guess, was like I almost signed with the 49ers, but like, AG, who is your team?
I was a 49er fan too.
Yeah, man.
And being in Cali, and then my dad was a 49ers fan, so that was the closest I got to. I was hoping that day I got drafted, but didn't happen. But I was a Cornhusker. I was a Cornhusker. That was about
well,
it.
no, I mean, listen, that's legendary in itself, AG. I'm just saying, like, to be able to grow up in Wisconsin and play for the Green Bay Packers, like you and Tausch are living the dream, huh?
Yeah. Well, even Tausch had an even better dream because he like from Wisconsin, played in Madison, and played in Green Bay. Like him and Cole Van Landen, our player on there right now, got the little.
Yeah. And what about Billy Fiorio?
I was gonna say Ferrario from there.
He was from Wausau area.
No, he's from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, he's from Jersey.
He lives in Wausau.
He lives in Wausau.
He moved out there. Hey, there. By the way, if he's listening, that guy was the most trash poker player I think I've ever played against in my life. If you're out there, Billy, you're a terrible poker player. Unbelievable. The guy would try to wait you out, man. The guy would try to wait you out. He'd get rid of all the chips in the bowl so everybody would be hungry and stuff, and he'd just sit there and wait until everybody quit and he'd try to take all your money.
He try to starve you in poker?
No, he tried to starve you because we're all fat guys, man. He tried to starve you out. Unbelievable.
Oh my God! Oh
serious,
my
bro.
God, that is too funny right there.
So hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this U71 package, man. Tell everybody the back. You want to go into it and tell the story, KB? How this whole thing started? Because you were like a cult legend back in the day.
Yeah, everybody knows it now.
Yeah. So how it all got started? Because we had 5 already. But Becton wanted to get me out there somehow, and so I don't know if it was him or Jags, whatever. But they came up and we got our first time doing it was the Bears game, and they only had like 2 plays or something like that to do it. And then all of a sudden after that, it just like snowballed to just a few plays, a whole sheet. So I was like always on the practice field.
Dude, we ran that play. I remember in like 2004, we were probably running that play 16 times a game. 96 power load.
Easy.
Right? You probably had 20 snaps a game. Like you pretty much revolutionized six offensive linemen in the NFL. I mean, really, who else is doing it?
I see it
at that level. Yeah, I mean, who else was doing it at that level? Like guys that come in for goal line, but we were doing it in the middle of the field.
Yeah. You see 71 come on.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a team be successful like how we were doing it.
That's because nobody else has you, man. 300. You were running about 350 back then, right? No, I'm serious.
No,
like, you think about
330.
330.
So 330 is a big tight end, man. Mercedes Lewis is a great blocker, but he's not rolling down to 330 pounds. You imagine a dude walking out there, and that defensive end every day is like. We kind of giggled, right? Because like, I mean, it's hard work, but sit there like 275-pound defensive end. It's going against, it's like going against Tausch all day, going against Tausch, and they got to run and pass. It's like, and then all of a sudden you come in, it's like, it's clobbering time. Like he's gonna fix around and get his ass whipped real quick for about a couple of days.
Yeah, destroyed. I remember the Seattle game, 03 season.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, the first one in the regular season where I'm getting the ball on the goal line and the whole right side of the goal line is already in the end zone because KB takes whoever their D tackle 3 technique was and planted him 5 yards into the end zone. I'm like, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna just walk.
Disappear.
I'm gonna walk.
Used to make dudes
zone.
disappear.
I was like, that is amazing to see. I love
KB,
it.
who are the DNs that you remember? Like, man, I used to love getting a hold of that dude. Let's talk. Hey, on this show, by the way, KB, we just talk a lot of trash about everybody. So
yeah,
don't feel bad about whatever you say. Who are the guys you like beating up on?
I know I enjoy when. I'm trying to remember because I just started beating up everybody. I was like, well,
you used to get a hold of. Remember, you used to get a hold of Goulier down in the Bears every once in a while. I felt bad for him because he wasn't built for that. But he was a pass rusher. Maybe coming in like bring another tackle in, like bring in the lefty.
But Amon knows the story. Like when we were playing battle at home, and this dude, I forgot it was or somebody, but he just really pissed me off, and I dumped his ass in the back of the end zone because I was pissed.
And I was in Seattle game. That's the play I was talking about. That was the play I was talking about.
That wasn't Rocky Bernard, was it? Was that Rocky Bernard?
Whoever their 3 technique was in 03 or
that was Rocky Bernard.
Yeah, that was him. He got destroyed.
Yeah.
He was a good player too, man, but yeah, that's tough sledding.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cornmeal. You double team, forget about it.
Oh man. Like on film it looked even worse. Like in person, getting the ball, getting the handoff, and when I saw that, I was almost like caught off guard because it's just you don't expect that much space between you and the goal line when you're on the goal line. You got to
you're not supposed to be able to walk in.
Yeah, not just walk in like that. So I'm like, oh my God. And then the next day on Monday when we watch film, I'm like, he literally picked you, like you got him right in between his armpits, and you just kind of just like, here you go, move back here. I'm gonna sit you down right on your butt and right on the G on the P and the C.
I very specifically remember. I think it was that same year. And we had lost. No, it was 2004 because it was our second or third game. We started out bad that year.
Right. Yeah.
And we played the Detroit Lions, which it's like everybody's medicine, right? And I think it was like the second play of the game. Dude, we ran that 9-6 power load, and I remember I came over and dumped their linebacker, but I dumped him. Now think about this because I'm pulling around and I have depth, right? So I dumped my guy over KB, who was already on top of his guy. Like it was like a damn domino effect. And then AG, you went off like second play of the game for like 70 yards off that.
Right.
Off that and I remember watching those things on film because sometimes like people don't understand how hard it is to drive block and like inline block, but you were so good at it that people would like you'd literally pick humans up and then like all like my limbs are off the ground and then like my back hits first. Like usually you don't see that very often in the league. You were one of a kind in that back in the day, man.
Yeah, high school, college, you would see that, but to see that in the pro level it's like impressive and like, oh my God, you just dominated that guy, and it's going to linger in his head for a whole quarter and probably the rest of the game. But you guys, I'll say this: you guys set the standard for playing 6. We set the standard for having 6 O linemen in the middle of the field. So how much do you miss that kind of football being played, KB? Because I know we talk about it when we're out there in your garage watching a game, and we just talk about how we play. We're always mentioning that. Yeah. So how much do you miss that?
I miss seeing a lot. I mean, passing offense now compared to like with us, we had a balance. Mm-hmm. But now it's just so much like just in the air and stuff like that. And you don't see that like a lot of teams just dominate the ball, dominate the scrimmage, and just really just like basically control the game. Mm-hmm. Like so, I really miss seeing a lot of that like domination like that because it's a lot more finesse and zone blocking and just trying to really doing like a pass block or passing all the time. So I do miss seeing that.
Yeah, I know I do.
People don't understand how terrible it is for an offensive lineman to have to like pass pro all day. Like, it's not fun at all. No, like, you take pride in it. Like you don't want to get, you don't want to get, but it's like you don't want to get beat, but you take a lot of pride in your job. But like it's not fun. Like it's not fun is like imposing will on somebody else, not like making sure they don't impose will on you. It's like you have to it's like a double negative on pass pro, man. But run blocking is when you get to eat. Like we make our money in pass pro, but you have like we make our pride and our name and everything in run blocking. It's funny, like you see guys now, KB. You tell me if you agree with this. Like when I watch guys play now, all they ever talk about is like how the guys run blocking, or pass blocking. But when you look at the absolute top guys in the league now, they're actually the best run blockers. You think about like Quentin Nelson's, Trent Williams, like all the guys that get hyped, like a lot of love. They're the guys that can dump people on down to down basis. Whereas there's a lot of good pass blockers now, but I think like the differentiator, if you want to be an all pro, man, you better be able to dump somebody. You feel that way?
Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way too. I mean, Green Bay has a few guys on there I can see that are great at doing run blocking, but you just like you said, there's the most dominant offensive ones that can do both, but they're very dominant when it comes to running the ball, and like that's just the key with how a player nowadays with like the offense too. Like QBs don't have to worry about getting hit as much like they do now. Or they did when we played, because they saw like worried about the QB not like that's a big commodity, so we need him hurt. But before, it was just like, skip it, run for your life.
You think they're going to put a red jersey on him during the game?
What's that?
I said, I think we're 2 years from putting the red jersey on during the game. What you think? Unbelievable.
I know. Or give him flags.
Oh my goodness! Right. So, who was the best DN you played against during your time, KB?
Julius Peppers was one of the good ones I blocked.
Oh yeah, he's a unit too.
One step out there. I mean, that's
dude. Did you think
that's long arms?
So Julius is the best athlete. I always like Mike Rucker, and I know this guy. I played with those guys. I love him. Mm-hmm. Dude, Rucker used to give me fits, and he wasn't like, I don't know why, like he wasn't that strong or anything. Like compared to Julius, you're going like, this guy's not as good an athlete. That dude used to give me so many fits in games, man. And he talked crazy talk. Like he doesn't swear or anything, but he's a crazy trash talker. He's a like he loses. He's Nebraska, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a hustler.
Yeah, he goes outside himself. Like he's like becomes a different human and then comes back into his brain like after the game. He's nuts, man. He's absolute nuts.
Oh man, and you're right, Mike, in describing him. Not real muscular, but big, and doesn't really have. When you look at him, you're like, okay, I think I can handle this guy. But I think it's just that the culture that we had, that motor that Grant Wistrom had, he had to follow up that motor. So we know he had a motor. So he's like, all right, I gotta stick with this kid, and he's 100 miles an hour, so I got to do something special. So between 100% effort and then obviously trying to chap the gums a little bit, getting the guy's head. And that's something you guys are great at. I think old linemen, between you two and Marco and Flanny, probably the best getting in somebody's head, trash talking. Because I know some of the trash talking that went on between you guys and defenses that we face. I remember Marco, I was at his house in Dallas. He says to me, Amon, he said, I used to come to the line of scrimmage and just point to say, hey, number 30 is coming right here, and you can't stop him. And I'm like, you would say that? He's like, yes, we knew what we were doing. We had it down. I'm like, now it makes sense why some guys were mad at me when I was running the ball and I didn't even talk to him. I was like, I get it now, because y'all were, lighting them up before, and I'm not lighting them up with the hit, and y'all talking trash to him.
That's a bad feeling right there. KB, you talk a lot of trash?
Chicago. No, well, a lot of times when I go up to this good linebacker and he try to run, I'll be like, no, I got you. Don't even try.
He's like,
I
got you. Where are you going? Come on here.
Oh man,
I love it.
When they did talk trash, so when they did talk trash, so once I panic, I get up and laugh at them.
Oh yeah.
That's
all you to do.
I feel like talking trash was always like, I try to take a different approach, man. I always be like, man, you guys are doing really well. I'd always try to like be over like nice to them to the point where they know that I'm lying to them. Like, man, you doing really well out there. Or I'd like push somebody over the pile and like, you put your forearm in their throat or whatever, and then you like help them back up. Like, man, you're playing great today, man. I love the way you're playing today. and they would get so angry. Like that make them so mad because they don't know how to come back from it.
No,
You
they
know, like,
can't.
oh, like F you. And you'd be like, yeah, okay.
That sounds like Marco
Like,
stuff he used to
yeah,
say. So
yeah,
who was the best trash talker,
Yeah.
KB, that you face? Mike, you can answer that one too. Wolf on that
Best
one.
trash talker? Oh, John
Yeah.
Randall.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
it's
can see
easy.
that. Yeah, I can see that.
Because John
I
Randall,
don't really have
like,
that's one.
that's because they were scared of you. See, I was only 295, man. You're rolling around at 330 on those defensive ends, man. What are they going to say? Oh, shoot.
He said, "Oh shit, here we
Oh,
go."
hell.
I do remember when we were playing Tampa. Like I was coming on, like we were doing special. I was doing special teams. I was coming up, and Sapp was coming on. He was like, "You're a big motherfucker."
Hey,
Sapp used to get so mad. He'd be like, because we you know, if like we were sliding to him, if we went inside and we slid to him, he'd complain about that. And if he tried his move and you'd flash your hand, so he'd like do his move early. And there's a couple times like you just jack him up, and he would be like, "Man, I can't wait till I get my boy back." Because like whoever the nose tackle was, it didn't matter if it was that white dude he had back in like '98 or if it was like Booger.
it was
None of them
Booger,
could rush.
I think.
None of them could rush the passer though.
Right.
So he'd be like, "Oh, wait till I get my guy back." We're like, who is this guy? Like, what are you talking about? Like Simeon Rice? He's already out there.
Yeah, he's on the
Right?
he's on the edge.
Chad's over there blocking him with one leg. Remember when Chad cramped up for that game and dude was blocking him with one leg? Oh
Yeah.
my god. But he was a dude. Warren would talk so much. He'd be out there just dancing around doing his little shake stuff, and then he'd be like, if you jacked him up, he'd be like, "Man, wait till I get my boy back." And we'd be like, "Dude, what?" And we were always like perplexed, man. So maybe he was a great trash talker. We were confused. Like, who's he talking about? Yeah. He was. I mean, listen, that guy was. I mean, he was a special player, right? He's a Hall of Fame guy too. But
yeah, he would get in Brett.
people,
He would get in Brett's head too. I remember my first season there in 2000, and then the last game of the season when we played against Tampa. I remember that game, and it was like negative at kickoff, and then even colder towards the end of the game. Halfway through that game, I had a run, tackled. I'm walking back to the huddle, and him and Brett are just going at it. And I'm like, dude, Brett, get in the huddle. I'm like, it's my first year, but I'm like, this is the whole season in now. So I got a little something. So I grabbed Brett. I'm like, boy, I said, Brett, get in the huddle, man. Stop talking to him. Stop trying to I'm having fun, AG. I'm having fun. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, so John Randall and Brett, like John. So obviously you make a name off of talking trash to a quarterback, right?
Right.
John Randall was the king, so they had this thing going. So when the Bucks joined the NFC North and with Sapp was like he saw John Randall and all the fame he was getting, and a lot of it was off of like John Madden would talk about like their rivalry. So you knew Sapp was like just over there, and then Chris Hoban was trying to do the same thing. Like everyone tried to take a shot at the title, man, every single year, right? That was part of the fun of being a lineman for Green Bay, though. You knew your quarterbacks would be talking trash to everybody. So I was like, they're talking trash to the guy that we have to block, KB.
Oh man. So that with you saying that, Mike, that brought up the thought of ADRIAN KLIM when he got here from New England. You know where I'm going with this for both of y'all, because y'all were in that room. I remember.
No, I wasn't. I was out of that room.
Oh, were you gone by then? Darn.
Oh yeah. I thought you were telling. Go ahead. You tell this one. I'll tell another one. Clem's the man, dude. But it's funny. Yeah.
But yeah. So when he got there, Mike, he had his haircut. He was bald, and he had a beard. He looked like Suge. He looked like Suge Knight.
Yeah. He still does.
Right. And so I met right before practice, get my ankles taped, fleece taping my ankles. He comes down and he sits down. He has this look of disgust on his face. And he's like, man. I'm like, Adrian, you good? He's like, man, what's up with the old lineman, man? I'm like, what you mean? He said, man, I'm sitting in the meeting room. They going in on me. Like every time something happened on tape, if I answer the question not quite right, somebody's on me. I'm like, hey, bro, that's just how it is. You got to suck it up. I said, them guys are rough. You can't let them see you sweat. And he said, they're calling me Suge Knight. And man, when he said they calling me Suge Knight, I lost it. I was like, I just broke down, started laughing. I said, my bad. I'm like, bro. Yeah. I say, you look like Suge Knight for real, though. I'm just saying, but don't let them see you sweat. But I'm like trying to hold this down, trying to tell him that. And y'all called him Suge Knight. I'm like, oh my God, this is too funny.
So I got a funny one. So Clem's a character.
Yeah.
And so they brought him in to replace, he played left guard when I left.
Yep.
So So remember that team was like 4-12, so things are going bad, right? You guys lost. You guys lost.
Yeah, that was 05. Yeah, I was out. A lot of us was out.
And so we're training in. I'm training in Scottsdale, Arizona, next off season.
Mm-hmm.
And Clem's there, and I don't really know who he is, right? I mean, I know who he is, but like I never met him before, or whatever. But he's just looking at me side-eyed like the whole day. And finally, I was like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" Like, I'm Mike, whatever, blah blah blah. And he's just kind of like, he doesn't want anything to do with me, right? So the dude that we're all training at his facility, the guy we're training at, Chad Ike, he invites everybody out to dinner at a sushi restaurant, and so I get my car, I go out there. It's like 7, 8 at night, whatever. I'm in the parking lot. I park the car. I'm walking back, and he's standing in the middle of the parking lot, like waiting for me. And I'm like, oh shit, like we're gonna fight. Like it's about to go down.
Oh, it's that look. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, we good? And he goes, man. And he puts his hand out. He daps me up. He's like, you're a cool guy. And I go, all right. I'm like, okay, thanks. He goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I called my boys. Like we were gonna come over here and beat your ass, man. You know how much shit I had to take for you leaving Green Bay and all the crap they told me all this year because their team wasn't good and everything. Like he's like started. I was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, he's like, man, we're fixing to come over and whip your ass. I go, it would have been a good fight. Like
right. I would put money in. I would have bet on that fight. I would have bet on that fight.
So then he was at UCLA. He was at UCLA, and I went over to check UCLA out and went and checked, said hi to him. He's a really, really good dude. I think he's coaching with the Steelers. I think he's a head line coach. No, sorry, he just went to Oregon.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But he's a really good coach. This dude had their left guard at spring ball. He had him in tears. Like that UCLA group had like all these ex-pros as coaches. It was Jim Moore's team. Had him all these ex-pros coaching. Dude, Adrian KLIM had this dude in flat. I've never seen a college like 22-year-old dude just in tears on the sideline at spring ball. Dude, he had him in tears. I was like, oh, this is absolutely ruthless over here. I'm enjoying the hell out of myself today. Thank you for having me over. This is amazing. It was brutal.
Brutal. Hey, he's just trying to get him better. He's critiquing him being hardcore. So we're gonna head into the next segment called Trench Warfare. And before we do present it, we're getting sponsored here by NordVPN here on Believe. So what is more important than peace of mind, guys? Anything? Nothing at all. So, and that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you a peace of mind while you are online searching the internet. So with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure to have your best VPN you can get. So NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure and tight. Nobody can kind of creep in through your IRL and try to jack all your passwords and all that craziness. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all your computers, devices, no matter their operating system. And with NordVPN unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, KB. You know what I'm saying? Just hint. And plans to start under
I'm at
$4 per month. So plans start under $4 per month, KB, just so you know. So right now, grab your exclusive NordVPN deal going by nordvpn.com/believe or use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month free. It's also risk-free with a NordVPN 30-day guaranteed, money-back guaranteed there. But Mike, I think you got something to say though about all this.
That it's also risk-free. Here's a question, KB. What do you need to protect? What do you need to protect? What would NordVPN be protecting on your computer, on your personal computer? What kind of stuff you got on there? How many business stuff? Not back in the day when you were on 27 dating apps.
I didn't care about that thing. I was like, whatever. You see that's what I got on there.
I got you. Okay, so KB, check this out. This is talking box players, 9-on-7 football, right? First question: who's a better blocker, you or Mercedes Lewis?
Me.
I agree.
Yep.
Mercedes pretty
100%.
good though. You think he's the best? Who's better? He's the best blocking tight end in the league right now, though, right? Who's better than him?
No, I think he is too. I think
he's amazing.
He's a great
watching?
player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, I was kidding with that, man. I know you're better at blocking than he is.
Uh,
Who's your favorite line to watch right now?
I like Turner. He's a good all-around lineman.
Really? Yeah.
He's a strong player. I watch him dominate out there.
He was with me in Miami for a couple years.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Who else?
Let's see who else there. I'm interested to see how Rutgers kids does. He's out there.
Who?
Also, another guy, a player that I know personally, Cole Van Lanen. I'm definitely interested to see what his future holds for everything out there. I think he's a great player, and I think a Wisconsin kid. So definitely looking forward to watching him in the future.
Yeah. So what about around the league, guys? Around the league,
We'll see what happens. Let's see. Who's some big boys out there? Oh
man, Big Q. I like Fooney.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What about that dude? What about Slater? You like Slater out in the Chargers? The new left tackle for the Chargers. Penei Sewell, the new right tackle for the Lions. What you think about those guys? You watch them at all? That Penei Sewell.
I watched him a little bit, especially the guy from.
Yeah, he's like you, man. He's coming over. He's coming over to crush dreams.
Yeah. I try to watch linemen like how we played, like dominant linemen that you could just handle anything for like run block or pass block. I try to watch a lot of guys like that.
That's like who's that right now? Who do you think on the line is right now? Is that like it's probably the Colts are pretty good, right? You can kind of see how they could kind of fill that role. What's another line out there you think is like that level? The Browns?
I would say Browns aren't bad. Who has a chance with all that?
Philbin's got Dallas right now. I mean, it's just the problem is they're always injured. And then
you see the light with them a little bit, but they have an injury.
The San Fran line is pretty good. I don't know how much of it is like. Obviously, left tackle is he's a difference maker in any offense, but then their scheme's different. Deebo Samuel, just like the way they deploy their weapons is pretty unique. But like for my money, the Browns and the Colts, they're pretty good offensive line wise. Like they're kind of good across the board, you know.
Yeah, and I did watch. San Fran always seems to have like a really good left tackle for quite some time. They've always been
because they had Joe Staley before.
Yeah, that's a key. Gotta have a solid left tackle, backside protection.
Defense too. So, yeah,
dude, I think there's always something to be said too. If you get a practice, I know there's not as many practices now, but like if one side of the line's good and they're playing against the other side every day, like you're gonna get better, right? It's almost osmosis, right? You're gonna play together every day, like almost just because of survival tactics. Like you have to learn how to play better. Mm-hmm. You can't. I remember. What was Corey's name? What was Corey's last name? He went over and played. He played with us, and then he went over and played in Detroit. Corey Williams. C-Dub. So me and Flanagan used to get when he was younger. We used to just because we practiced hard, right? So that was back in the day when you could. And man, we would roll him every day. And I remember we went and played him when he was in Detroit. I think I was with with Carolina, and he was like, "Man, I got to tell you," he goes, I want to thank you for being so hard on me in practices. He goes, because other places they don't go that hard. And he's like, but he felt like he got so much better just because we would push. We would push those guys to be great.
Yeah, I remember my first year in Green Bay. I mean, I lined up against Kabir, and he said, "Hug, look." Mike. He's already backfield before I get my hand off the ground. I was like, yeah. So after you go against him all day, you get in the game, you're like somebody trying to do a speed rush. You're like, hurry it up, because I already got 3 different things I want to do to you right now. Against guys like that helps. Aaron Campbell was another guy because he had an engine that was going all day.
Campbell was.
That
I
really
love
helped
Campbell.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I remember
that.
Cameron. It was so funny too. I'll never forget because I think I was gone when he got really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was talking to Tauscher, and Tauscher was like, "Dude, he's beating me." I was like, "How's camp? Is he playing left end now?" Because I think in the last training camp he played against me at 3 technique. Because they were hurt. He had guys injured, and I was like, "How's he doing?" And Tauscher was like, "Bro, he's beating me. Like he's beating me because Tauscher never lost 1-on-1s. He would never lose." And I remember he Tauscher was like, "Dude, he's beating me every once in a while. It's crazy." And then he went like all pro 2 years in a row or whatever. It's like same thing though, right? Like iron sharpens iron kind of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know, like, Amon, you could tell me about this, but like for practice now, they don't seem like they do like how we did, especially like training camp. Training camp is like a resort now. What we went through.
Yeah, it's
but
I say they break it down a lot better now. Or they break it down out of pads and stuff. And then I know Mike, he was with the Dolphins more recent than I was with the Packers in 2013 about how they basically, take the pads off from a scrimmage or a heavy practice down and then build back up to pads on again. So yeah, it's a big.
There's only so many padded days you can have. It's like 12 during camp and 13 during the year. So it's really, really small numbers. And that's full pads, but then most of these guys, like for whatever reason, it's just life's different, man. It's difficult, and the hard part about the league now is because we all watch it, we're like, man, they're softer, right? But the truth is, they just haven't the coaching staffs haven't adapted to the fact that they don't have these practices. You have to find another way to get right. Like you have to find another way to develop that grit and that resilience, that technique under pressure. Like you have to find a way to be physical. Like you have to still be able to do that. And the players and the staffs and the players that can do that are like, for me, like all that's happened now for me is like the differentiator in talent or the differentiator in productivity between like, especially in the lines. There's like a couple lines we talked about it, the Colts, the Browns that are like really, really good. And then there's to me, there's a pretty big drop off. And then there's like a bunch of guys that are kind of in the middle of the pack. Maybe some are better than the others, but it's just, I think for me, it's just the guys that are like individually figuring out, like, this is what I got to do to get ready, or collectively as a group. I know with the Browns, Callahan and Scott Peters, like they get them ready and they're just always ready to go. Like they kick ass, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it just seems like it, like you said, like it got a little, like it looks like it's a little, because like for us, I mean, you were going hard. I mean, you basically go through a brick wall after our we were and stuff like that. But it seems like now they're not so aggressive and so like dominating doing stuff nowadays. Now it just seems like because it also went towards that whole pass blocking and stuff like that. So used to stuff like that. So it seems like also injuries are a big thing with them now because like you don't 70% for practice, but then when you get to the game, you gotta go 100%. So you only did that tempo once a week. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just different than how it used to be.
That's a great point.
So how's the game changed for you, KB? Like watching it, knowing what you know about the game, like us, because that's what we talk about weekly. So what about yourself?
I mean, like I said, it just seems like it's not. I watch it, but it's not as fun as it used to be to watch because there's so much just passing up. You know they're gonna pass a lot, so it's just like okay, pass whatever. And you like that domination, like if you want to control the game, you gotta get up there and just beat the shit out of somebody.
Hey,
I mean that's why I enjoyed more of that way.
Right.
Maybe you remember when Jags came in as coordinator and he was like he was gonna run that zone scheme. You're like, we're gonna run zone now. Dude, yeah. And do you ever think you're like, so dude, we were running zone the whole time. What are you talking about? Like we ran zone, we ran man, we ran power, we ran gap, we ran outside. Like it was Swiss Army knife to do everything. And then somehow like for like 10 years, 15 years, like Alex Gibbs got popular, right? Because of the Broncos. And everyone's like, oh, we got to run zone.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you could just be lineman. Like, I don't know. Why do we have to have a system? This system is ridiculous. Like we could be good at everything. It's okay. Did you ever wonder, like, why the hell are we just like locked into this like one system now? What is that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I wasn't a fan about that because like I'm like we did that before, but just because also because that's Denver. Denver had a lineman than we do. It's the NFC. They got big boys around. Chicago had big boys like just had the William guys and stuff like that.
Oh,
like you can't take a 295 guard or whatever, try to zone block him with them. And so I was not a big fan about that at all. I knew we were going to go back to how to do stuff, but just that whole little we're going to try something different. Like this is garbage. Just keep it what's been productive for us all those years.
Right. So with that being said, go Mike.
Go ahead, Bo.
No, I was gonna say with that said, who is your best coach being a pro? Because I know you had Larry, and then I can't remember, and I don't want to remember Houston. Just like
Joe.
You.
Joe, Larry.
Joe.
Yeah. I say Bechtel and Campy. James Campy.
Campy's in Jacksonville now, right?
No, Campy's in Carolina now.
Oh, he's Carolina. I knew he was south somewhere. I just didn't know. Okay, got it. Carolina, got it.
Yeah.
KB, that was
Bechtel.
That was.
Yeah. We know that. We all
coach,
know
bad
that.
human, right?
Oh my God, perfect. Hey, Mike, that is perfectly said. The things he would say and do. Oh my God, in practice.
Oh, you don't want this. We don't got enough time. You only
we don't
on that, man.
Yeah,
that's it. That's a good segue to get off my lawn, bro.
Yeah, we get into go off my lawn with that one. With that,
I'll tell you this. Hey, tons of people take multivitamins, but it's important you choose one that is top quality with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, which I take, by the way. It's pretty good. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Their splash abundant of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and something that we're worried about, aging. It's also lifestyle friendly and fits a wide range of diets. There's only 1 gram of sugar, no chemicals or artificial anything. So reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Everybody sign up right now. That's actually a huge value, man. I didn't even think about that. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/believe. That's BLEAV. Again, athleticgreens.com/believe. I'm supposed to read this incredibly quickly. Here we go. Ready? These statements have been evaluated with the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens. Take ownership of your health. How about it? That wasn't bad for fast, huh?
That wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
That wasn't bad at all.
You sound like one of those legit commercials selling.
Dude, I wish I could do that. That'd be a great gig. Like, what was your other gig? I just read shit fast.
Oh my God.
Hey, okay, so KB, get off my lawn. It's like stuff we just don't. We're just tired of. Like we miss. We're tired of it. We're getting canceled. Whatever's getting canceled now is probably get off my lawn moment. And so my first get off my lawn moment this week. We want to hear yours too, man. It's 22 heavy personnel. Like where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? We got rid of 22 heavy. We've just been talking about it all day. Are you 71 package? Where did it go? Why do we have to, why can't we have a situation where a team comes in and completely dominates? And I guess, if you think about it, some of these teams like maybe San Francisco is really, they made it pretty far, being able to run the ball, being able to put people in interesting situations. It's like line friendly, right? Line friendly. But I would love to see a team come back and just be able to, hey, listen, if we need to just dominate this game from the third quarter on, throw 6 offensive linemen in there, grab your tight end, throw them on the side. We'll go man on man with our number 1 X out here. We'll put a fullback in the backfield because nobody knows how to handle a fullback. Nobody knows how to handle 2 tight ends that can actually block because there's not 2 tight ends on the team in the NFL that can actually block. You think about like the pendulum's always swinging, and I'm always like, dude, when are we going to swing back? Because I want to watch it again. I miss it.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. Like, we have like the best example would be like the Tampa game. Like in the fourth quarter, all we had to do was just basically run the clock, and all we did for 26 plays, whatever, from like our own end zone, just run the field, run block, and just dominate the whole line, and just like own it, and just basically dominate the game. And by the time it was done, we basically ran out the whole clock with how we played that game. I was there for like 20 of those 26 games, like just running. And that's how you just take control. And teams need to do that. You need to have you're already ahead. Own the game. Don't give them a chance. Just go out there and dominate and kick by them. Stop fucking just like, we're gonna just pass. No, just Go out there and beat shit out of everybody in front of you and just own the line. Let them know who you are.
You know what I love. You know what I loved about it, AG, is that it didn't matter if a guy got up on the grease board and drew arrows here and there. This is how we're gonna play defense. It was basically like, we think that our guy is gonna block your guy right here. We're gonna dominate this guy. We're gonna dominate the point of attack. We'll be able to get the cutoff on the backside. Like, you just have enough. It's basically a statement that you are confident enough in the abilities of your athletes. Like, you feel like, as coaching staff, like, you feel you've taught them well enough that they're going to execute this at a very, very high level. And we really don't care what you put in front of us. And like, being able to live with that confidence, that was kind of that's why we do it, right? Like, we all play sports because that feeling, when you get that feeling, like, dude, I'm so confident that whatever we do right now is going to work. Like, that's what we live for. And I think that's what, like, that 22 heavy for me was just like, oh man, they're putting that in. Like, we got problems. Everyone else has got some serious problems right now. We're living the good life.
Yep. You find out if you're a man and you made that other person a man and let them know. I remember, I'm trying to think. It was so I can't remember what game it was, but I know it was just the defense. I see defensive linemen get hype in the first quarter, and I'll be like, this is 4 quarters, but so holla at me in the fourth quarter, see where you at. And that's fourth quarter, they'd be like, yeah, y'all good. And this is frustrating that you're still running downhill very hard. I'm like, hey, just told you it's 4 quarters, man. That's what we coming to do.
That's hoping versus taking, right? They're hoping we're taking.
Yeah, they're hoping. Oh, is he gonna be tired? Is he hurt? I'm hoping that he is hurt. No, he's not. Fourth quarter. Here we go. So the next get off my line is the NFL Combine, y'all. So now they're putting severe restrictions on these guys and what they're able to do. So who can they interact with because of, what's been going on in the world today? And can we just be over this already? So right now, like you say, with COVID and everything and other, how the combine goes for guys. I know for mine, it was I was just discombobulated. I'm like, this is a professional event where I'm getting, my physical in the big room. The tables are 2 feet apart, and you can't tell me from table to table that you could just watch when I'm getting my physical with the Broncos and just take notes while you're doing that, instead of making me go all through that again 31 times. At that time, 31 teams. And they're like, yeah, no, we want our own information. I'm like, but you're hearing me talk about my ankle, my knee, my back injury or whatever. There's like, no, we want our own information. I'm like, oh my God, this is it? This is what I'm, since 6 years old, was waiting for? And then we're, like you said, Mike, we're sitting in underwear, getting measured and quartered. They didn't give me my 6 feet. They said I was 5'11" and 3/4 inch. I'm like, come on. give me my 6 feet, man. 6 feet, 215. So where are your guys on that? The NFL Combine.
KB, did you go to the Combine?
I went to it. Yeah, like Mon said, like, especially when you go out to, when you go there, like, you walk in, like, you go into the first part, they do the whole weigh-in and stuff like that. So you're sitting there, and you're like, everybody's sitting out there. There's like the lights on stage, and you feel like you're like cat, like you're gonna brag. Oh, we got this. It's like, man, that was weird with that. But then also too, like the medical. So you got all these different doctors. Like, they see one thing on your chart, all of them are like the same things. So the first like 10 are okay, but after you get past that, like, oh, does this bother you? Well, then assholes that just pushed on the same spot you pushed on, yeah, it's starting to bother me now. That was annoying. And then and also too, now it's such a spectacle now, because like before you only had two or 3 days to do it. Now it's like 4 or 5 days. It's like a whole process. Yeah. You gotta go get an MRI. You're sitting there for 3 hours, and all of a sudden you walk right up. Oh, here, go do the bench press or the 40 or something like that. Like, I need a second to just get my shit together first. So that it's just true. It's different experience.
Dude, you're so right. Like, the thing that's crazy to me is, so like right now you have the because of the COVID restrictions, they're trying to put these guys in a bubble. So like there's like 150 agents that want to boycott the Combine, right? Because they're not, these athletes. So first of all, you go to the Combine and you've been training to do well in all these events, right? You're trying to show your best. you've been eating the right way, you've been getting enough sleep in your own bed, or training at your own gym. And then they go to the combine, they put you up, they give you crummy food, they give you bad hours, you got to stand in
Terrible
line, you eat cold.
hours.
And it's like, and then they're justifying it, like the coaches be like, "Oh, we want to see how he performs." Like, we want to see if he's competitive. It's like, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah,
We're training as athletes to give you our best shot. We're not training as athletes like I would never ask you to go play a game on 1 hour sleep after or eating like 4 days of bad food. But you're happy to go to the combine and then get pissed off when people don't want to compete for drills that don't even make sense. So the whole thing, it's just, for me, it's time. They should just get rid of it. Pro days work. If you want to do regional combines, like you just want to do regional combines, those work too, where a guy, like everything's within like a ride. Like maybe it's more work for the scouts and everything. I know this is TV dollars, so it's never going to happen. But it just doesn't really make any sense for the athletes to even compete at the combine if you're going to have a pro day. Unless like otherwise, no one's ever going to find you, right? But then you wouldn't be invited to the combine anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say the hours. I remember my first day there, getting an interview request at 11:30 or 11 o'clock, then 11:30, and then midnight. I was like, huh? I was like, wait a minute. I got to wake up by like 6 or 7 o'clock to get ready for my 40, and they want to go do. And I skipped the last two. I did the one at 11, and the last two I didn't even go. I said, well, they just won't be happy with me. I'm going to get my sleep. I was like, this doesn't make sense at all. And this is a professionally run organization. I'm around for almost 100 years. Like, come on. It was killing me with that.
And then you think about like all the questions they asked. They've been like in the recent, last 5-10 years, they've been kind of popping up with these questions they've been asking, been pretty personal or like pretty revealing. Yeah. It's like, dude, what are you guys, like armchair psychologists? Like, are you getting, is there a book of idiot questions that we're asking? It's just like the whole thing is just unbelievable to me. And the only reason that you're there from a club standpoint is the medical, but then they can also, I mean, it's very easy now to like, to answer all of the questions in one swoop. Like you don't need, like you guys said, you don't need to go to 31 teams. I know it's a spectacle, so it's gonna keep happening. But for me, I'd rather just assume get rid of it. I'd tell my athletes not to go.
Yeah. So
apparently was my roommate at the combine, and he didn't do anything. He did like his own. They did the thing at and I can see like doing that way too, because it's a lot going on, especially how like a short we did our combine. So I agree. Like it doesn't really make sense to do it. Just go run into the guys' colleges and see who you want to see and go from there. Yeah.
Mike, you want to hit the next question? You want to go down to the
last
man.
One? So the last the scouting. Well, it was just funny because I was listening to Les Snead. His whole idea of he got rid of all these picks, and they were talking about how the Rams have kind of a different model for scouting.
I did see that.
They're looking at very specific things. And I mean, look, it makes a ton of sense, right? Like I would rather take Jalen Ramsey over any first round pick I could get this year because he can help me right now. We already know how good he is, right?
Yeah.
So then the only way that works though is if you can grab 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks and develop them. And so the Rams model, like the way they were talking about it is, listen, we don't send a bunch of guys to the combine. We don't send a bunch of guys over here and there. We watch film. We're looking for very specific things, which is like, I mean, this is the business that I'm in a little bit as far as helping talent, improve. So we look at very specific things, and then we build off the things that we see. And like the Rams, it sounds like it makes sense. I've been in other buildings. I've talked to other teams, and they don't. It's just everyone seems like they're doing the same stuff, and everyone's got like, oh, we have this special metric that we're using, but basically we're all doing the same stuff. It's like, I wonder how many guys are really being innovative like the Rams are and differentiating in their process. It's just kind of an interesting thing to think about, I think.
Right. I hear you. Yeah, because it just seems like sometimes you're just watching the same thing over and over again, and it's not that hard. You could do that, like you said, saving money instead of sitting 10 scouts across the United America. Just sit there at home and hit the play button or turn on the TV. That's it. Instead of wasting all that money on flight costs and all that, and hotels, and then obviously coaches doing dumb stuff. So alleviate all that. So the last part of get off my line here. Yeah. Go ahead, KB. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So we get into this last one. We're in football purgatory here. That means, is this no football, Mike? What you talking about right now?
Dude, listen, this sounds crazy, But I was just thinking about it today because, like, this weekend, like, NBA All-Star game, like, that was the worst dunk contest I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like,
it was terrible.
Talking about all this, like, I know the drama right now. It's just all these other sports just aren't interesting to me. I just don't know how else to say it. It's not very interesting to me. Like Champions League soccer, I liked watching this weekend, but most people don't like soccer, but I like it.
I'm there with you.
I was thinking about. I was sitting here thinking, like, what would I watch right now if it was on? I was like, I would rather watch, like, you go to one of these high performance football gyms where all these dudes are working out in the off season. I'd rather watch a bunch of dudes lifting weights and you just put that on TV. I would just probably put it on my TV and watch that all day instead of all this, like, NBA nonsense, all this other stuff. Dude, you know what I mean? I just miss football already. It's been a week. I'm just like, all right, who's working out right now? Like, what? Like, you ever watch, like, James Harrison when he was still playing? He would be like posting Instagram and him squatting 800 pounds and whatnot. I'm like, dude, I just watch that all day. Like, can we just put that? Where can we go get that? I want to watch that.
When they play volleyball with the medicine ball, that one. I seen that.
Dude, we used to do that. We used to do that in Miami, by the way. That is a legit workout. We used to do that in Miami all the time. Oh man, that's crazy.
How heavy was the ball? Was it 15, 20?
You could use. Well, listen. Here's the deal. Like, if we did it right now, KB would be using like the 20, and he'd throw it to me, and I'd fall. He'd like knock me over, so I'd want to use like a 10, and then you'd probably be in the middle somewhere, like 15.
I'll be like at least 15. I could probably handle 15.
We used a 20-pounder. It's hard, man.
Oh yeah, that's a full body movement, catching it to securing it, and then trying to chuck it back over the net. Oh man, and that's a full net.
I try to play with my 13-year-old. Curtains. I'm like, catch it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
they need to some more like strongman competitions or something.
Oh, dude, what if we? Do you remember back in the day, ABC Wild World of Sports used to do the strongman contest? They had like pro wrestlers, football players. That would be gnarly.
That would be entertainment right there for me.
Get a mixture of athletes out there. Just do like a strongman competition. To see the difference between athletes like trying to compete like strongman competition.
We need to produce that.
Like the stuff we Wall and I after practice and stuff at the Hudson Center.
Yeah. I was telling that to Morley last week when I used to watch him. He had that pipe with the two grips in the middle. He used to basically thrust it out 5 yards and go pick it up, walk and pick it up and go. You would go 100 yards, wouldn't you, Mike? Right? Like 80 yards, 100.
I don't know. Listen, back in the day, that whole thing is kind of fuzzy for me. I just remember on Fridays, I'd be like, all right, what can I do to just feel like I'm going to kill somebody on Sunday? And I go grab a log and just throw it as far as I could for a while.
Right.
Try to work on some mobility stuff.
You had the tractor tire out there too. You would flip that. Well,
dude, in the off season, all we did was I did strongman training in the off season for like 5 years because I was out in Vegas with Mark Philippi. I'll give you guys a funny one, right? So when I moved to Seattle, like I was shadow of my former self, but I could still push sleds. It's one thing I could still do, right? I could still push. Right. And so we had a tractor, right? So we had this dude, Ray Willis. Ray Willis was from Florida State, tackle. Really, really good dude. Deep voice, mean-looking dude, right? But like nicest guy in the world. And so I was like, hey, Ray, let's go out and push this tractor on a Friday after practice, right? And so we're out there pushing, and I'm pushing it across back, and I'm killing him. Like Ray was big up top, not too big on the bottom. Like
right, no legs,
big, right? Yeah. So after a while, he's like, he's dying. I go, hey man, all you got to say is mate, and this will be over. And he's like, what's mate? And he's huffing and puffing. He's got he's on the 4x4 gator. He's like, what's mate? I go, it just means you quit. And he's like, F that, Mike Wall. I'll take my muscle off the bone. We'll tear this shit off the bone. And he just starts pushing and going nuts. We went about 10 more minutes, and I was finally like, all right, dude. Like, I think you're really gonna kill yourself. Like, he was like, dude. He was a stud, man. This guy was amazing. He's like, I never laughed so hard in my life, man. He's like,
oh, that is hilarious.
He's like, what's mate? I quit.
I know. I'm not gonna quit.
He watching Blood Van Damme and stuff. That's where they got mate from.
That's it. That's the reference, bro.
Okay, Bloodsport. Yeah, starting with Bloodsport or something. Or one of the John Clark.
Yeah, mate with Bolo Yang.
Yeah, with one of the John Clark movies.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, so KB, getting to wrap up the show here at the end to talk about a little bit of you. So catch up what you're doing on now. So what are you? I know what you're up to. I kind of mentioned to Mike what you're up to too, but let everybody, all the listeners, know what you're doing now, and where you live and things of that nature.
Well, I'm back here. I'm still in Green Bay. I'm working in schools, doing special education, stuff like that. But now I got out of working in education, and I started my own business now. So we get like a group of people, instead of being like in limos and stuff like that, you get a big bus and move around. Like, this does really well for everybody. And it was something that started out as a joke. I was like, I had a bunch of friends, like, I'm not really drunk, so I was like always like driving. So I'm like, my buddy was selling this bus. I was like, why don't I just buy that thing and just drive that around with it? And you started researching more and more about it. And like after I talked to my buddy for a couple hours, we were like, skip it, let's just do our own damn business. Like I was like, yeah, be my own boss, love it. And so that's how it all started. So I've been working on that, possibly looking at doing real estate. Just finished my class with doing that. So looking to take a test and do that too.
KB, what's your company called, man, so people can find you?
Own the Night LLC.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. When he I remember Mike
Facebook,
when he told
Instagram. So
right.
Own the Night. Own the Night. That sounds like you're running a prostitution ring too. I love it.
Yeah, but you have to have the LLC on there too, because there's another group that has like whatever they call the same thing.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, there it is.
Oh man, yeah. I remember.
You still go to games?
Here and there. I won this last year. Before the whole COVID thing, I went like a couple games and stuff like that. But this year I only went to one.
Yeah. And Mike, and whenever you come back to Green Bay, we gotta hang out at KB's garage where his business is. That's gonna be big. It's big fun. It's big fun in his garage. Just so you know, we did New Year's. Yeah, we did New Year's there, didn't we?
Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, walking distance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like right across
KB,
from the bar by the stadium. So it's.
Hey, last thing we wanted to ask you: put your GM hat on, right? Green Bay Packers general manager. You for the day. Who stays and who goes this offseason? I'm gonna give you a couple names, okay? Ready? Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Stays or goes? Uh-oh. We lose him? Man, that's why. Hey, the same thing's going to happen. Same thing's going to happen in front office. Oh, okay. So Devontae Adams stays or goes?
He may be gone because that salary cap is a big thing they got to work on right now.
Yeah.
What about Preston Smith, man? I think Preston Smith, like leadership-wise, he played out of his mind. I think he was a big role model this year, except up in absence of Z. What'd you think? And is he staying or going?
I think he's staying. I mean, he definitely proved himself, like with how he performed this year. Yeah, great leader. He even put the effort in because he's like he knew he wanted to be performing even better and came in great shape and stuff like that. And he proves he's here and do like things he's did this year.
Yeah, he killed it, right? What about Devontae Campbell? Here or there? Stay or go?
I hopefully he's here. They got the contract done, I guess, at midnight or whatever last night. So hopefully they keep him here.
Kevin King.
He's a solid addition.
I think Kevin King's got a chance, right?
He might be gone.
I think he's got a good chance.
A good chance to be gone? What do you think?
Yeah.
You say good chance to be here?
Yeah. Nah.
Okay, last. I'll just give you the obligatory. You think Aaron Rodgers staying or going?
I think he's staying. Definitely think he's staying.
Would you? Do you think he's staying, man?
Huh?
I don't know.
They hired his quarterback coach or something, right? Like they just hired some dude. He was retired.
Tom Clements. So remember, KB, you remember? I don't know if you remember. You know of him. I don't think he coached around your time, but Tom Clements. He was here in 2006 when McCarthy came in, and so Aaron had a really good connection with Tom Clements during his rookie. So that was his second year, 2006, and then obviously 2007, 2008, and then Super Bowl year 2009, 2010. Because when I came back in 2009, Tom Clements here, and he's straightforward. He's honest coach. He don't mess around, and he's not like a hardcore a hard ass, but he like sticks to the certain rules. And I know one of the rules Aaron had mentioned in a press conference this year that he got from Tom. So that's somebody high on his list in terms of who he respects as a coach, and who he understands that obviously could understand his philosophy and everything and who he learned off of as a player, as a young player, anyway, in his career. So,
but he said he didn't want to. At the end of the season, he didn't want to be part of like a rebuilding team. And if he goes out,
yeah,
like
I mean, he
Denver
said that
has a
several
rebuilding
times.
team, no matter where you go, it's going to be rebuilding. And so it's better to stick with what you like, with who you're with, and just hopefully they pick up the guys that you need. Because if not, you go somewhere else, it's going to be no matter what.
Yeah.
This is my last question. This is my last question for you, and only people who know in Green Bay will know this reference. But do you have your lifetime own table at Anduzzi's bar? Did they gift you that? Do you go to Anduzzi's?
I don't have that.
You back door.
Actually, I haven't been there for years now.
He has his own place, Mike. He has his own garage now.
That's true. Yeah, I see right down the street, man. You're probably closer to Anduzzi's.
He is. He's across the street from Anduzzi's.
Yeah, across the street from him.
Man, I gotta get
my own bar.
You gotta get up there, Mike.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm coming up. I'm coming up next year, man. Now that I know I got a place to stay, thanks, KB. Appreciate you. I'll be staying in KB's garage.
No problem.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. All right, KB, man. I want to say thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate you spending some time with us, and hope you have a great rest of your week. And maybe during the season, we'll bring you on. Maybe during the regular season when we start this thing back up for the 2022 season for On My Block. So, Mike, good job as usual, having fun, hitting us with all the facts and the technical stuff of your game. So, everybody listening in, go on to Twitter to On My Block. Is ON_my_block on Twitter, and download us. You can download us wherever you download your podcast at, and give us that feedback, give us that review, that rate, because that stuff keeps us getting better, and obviously helps us continue with great entertainment and great information to get everybody tuning in. So, Mike, let everybody know where they could find you on the socials.
Yeah, MikeWall68 on Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. KB, man, it was great talking to you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Great talking with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, AG, let's make sure we get him that NordVPN, all right? We get get his internet up a little bit, man. I know. Listen, we all know something's bogging down your computer, KB. We'll take care of you. Don't worry. We'll get this NordVPN take care of you.
All right. I appreciate the help.
Exactly. And real quick for mine, too, is AmonGreen30 on Twitter and Instagram. And I know, KB, you said it earlier. Let people know where they can find you on your socials.
I gotta remember my names for that. Shoot. Instagram is like KBerry71. Oh no!
What's the website?
On the Night LLC.
And what's is it? You have a website? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. www.onthenightlc.com.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, man. If Bald Marauder happens to rent out the next couple weekends, it's on. I'll be up there in the club.
Oh my goodness, this is awesome, hilarious. All right, KB, man, have a good rest of your day, man. Good week as well.
All right, you too.
All right, okay, thanks, Mike.
Good talking with you guys.
Good talking with you, Mike. Talk to you.